Alright, so today, I've been promising it for a while, we're going to look at Untap.in, and this is where I play EDH, or Commander, online. And so, many of you probably haven't heard of this, most people haven't, but I really enjoyed this platform. This is Untapped 3, version 3. I was using it in version 2, version 3 is a lot nicer. And so we're going to go over a few things, we're going to go over deck building, and then we're probably going to see if we can get a game. And I'll kind of explain like the really nice benefits of it, some of the bad things about it that aren't really inherent to the platform, but more just magic in an online format like this. But I'll get into it. And so you can see these are my decks. One thing that you're going to note is that you can support on Patreon, and there is. So if we click on Power Up, there's a bunch of benefits to doing this, and one of them is unlimited deck slots. So I'm going to explain a thing, right? So you can see this is $5 per month. So you only get these as long as you support the channel. And usually you only get 10 deck slots, which is a little low in my opinion. But you might notice that I have 52 out of 10. So what I did is I paid my $5 for 1 month and then made 52 decks. Right, you can see right here the EDH temp decks. And then I didn't pay the next month, but I still have all these decks. Now if I delete a deck, then I would only have 51 decks. So that's something that you can do if you want to play. Because like I supported version 2 because it was a one-time payment. And I was like, I'll do that. I'll pay my $10, whatever it was, and then I'll support it. Honestly, I would pay like $30 to support this platform, but I don't want to do a subscription. It's just me. I don't like the idea of subscriptions in gaming, or in a lot. There's some things subscriptions work on, like Netflix, but in this, it's like I want to pay you my money and get my features, and so I'm not gonna pay. I'm not gonna pay monthly. Some of you might be okay with paying monthly if you like the features, whatever. But if you just want to pay the one time and get more deck slots, it's pretty useful. All right, so we'll start out with a new deck. You can see I've got a few decks here. My favorite one right now is the Scarab God EDH Mark II and the Marath EDH Mark I are the ones I'm playing a lot right now. But let's take a look at this. So this is the deck building interface. And so first thing you come in here, you see, okay, this is what does it look like? So title. Well, first things first, let's go over to EDH Rec and pick a commander. And so if you've never used EDH Rec, it's a lot more popular, so I don't feel the need to do a real video on it. If you're in EDH at all, you've probably heard of it. So you get your monocolor commanders, 2-color commanders, 3-color commanders. What's one of the newer ones? A lot of people are building the new... oh, you know what? Let's do a mono green. A mono green, the new mono green guy. Where's he at? From yeah, Goreclaw. This guy is really good in limited right now in Commander in M19 limited. So you creature spells you cast with power 4 or greater cost 2 less to cast. Whenever he attacks, each creature you control with power 4 or greater gets +1/+1 against trample until the turn. So honestly, it'd be better to just put another color in here, like red probably, and pick a different commander. But we're gonna do this to show off like just because we're showing off what the thing is. Alright, so we pick Goreclaw. We're going to copy his name. Go back over to Untapped and slap it in there. And there he is. Look at that. And so then what you can do is this is your cat card. One card found. You can go over here and you can say add to deck alt images. So there might be different, because like they reprint cards, different versions of the card. Or just people upload. This is completely like you upload the cards, right? The players upload the cards. And so there might be different versions or just different... like all people do a lot of anime versions of cards and stuff like that. And so we're going to pick this. We're going to take Goreclaw and we're going to put him into Starts and Play Commander since this is a commander deck. Okay, we'll put 4 guys in. Okay, so let's put that down to 1, right? Singleton deck. But it'd be nice if that didn't happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to Advanced Deck Options. So you scroll down on this side and see Default Card Quantity. 1. Nice. Primary counter, of course, is our life, 40. And then secondary, because anything you want, we're going to put that as 0. Cover image is Goreclaw. Back to deck. So what do we call this? Well, playing Goreclaw, so we're going to call it Goreclaw EDH Mark I. Pretty simple naming scheme. Okay, so we have our Goreclaw on there. So what's next? Well, now if you EDH is nice if you want to just quickly put decks in. And so this is the new cards, right? Colossal Majesty. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. Seems pretty good in a deck revolving around 4 or greater attack creatures. So go with that. Now we're going to put that in starts in deck. Now we have 2 cards in our deck. Okay, what's next? Territorial Allosaurus. Kicker 3, when it enters the battlefield, if it fights another target creature. That's pretty good, but I'm not going to do that. Now, Brambles Sovereign I do want. This is an insane card from Battle Bond. One of the more insane cards from Battle Bond. Now you can see that whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield, you may pay 2. If you do, that creature's controller creates a token that's a copy of that creature. Now notice, what's very interesting is that this says, the way it's written, whenever another creature, non-token creature, enters the battlefield, you may pay 2. If you do, that creature's controller creates a token that's a copy of that card. So you can use this very politically. It's like, what will you give me if I give you an extra copy of that card you just played? But, the real thing is, if a 4 mana 4/4 is good, then 6 mana for 2 4/4s is very good. No, 4 mana 4/4 is not good in EDH, but it's just the way that it works, right? So if let's take a look. If 2 archetypes of endurance are good for 8, or if 1 archetype of endurance is good for 8, then 2 archetype of endurance for 10 is very good. Kind of. I'm picking bad examples, but that's the general gist of it. So then we have Gorthama All Devouring. I don't think I'm going to pick this. And then we have Grun the Lonely King. Again, not a big fan, but Elemental Bond. Moving on, these are going to be older cards that are not new. These are the new cards up here. So Elemental Bond is a lot like Colossal Majesty, but better. In some way, it's more. It doesn't matter that much. This one can get more cards in a turn. This one's more consistent. This is like a Phyrexian Arena for this deck almost, and this is going to be more like just allows you to chain cards together. Throw that in there. So, pack later, whenever another creature with power 3 or greater enters the battlefield under control, you may draw a card. Again, this is on a stick. Or it's on a creature. Throw that in there. This is green, so it's pretty easy. Okay, so Sirach, this is going to be a good one. At the beginning of your turn, if creatures you control have total power 8 or greater, target creature control gains haste. Very good. It's a green haste enabler. Pretty rare and very, very nice. Especially in a deck that revolves around big creatures. Whisper of the Wilds, so it's a dork, 2 mana, 0/2, add 1. Not great in EDH, but it has Ferocious at 2 in your mana pool, only if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. So, this, I don't think we want, because it's just not something I'm going to put in the deck. It's like, it's not a 4-cross creature, it's a dork, but I prefer to use, like, other types of ramp. So the thing about green is you can use sorcery based like land ramp, and which makes you a lot more resistant to board wipes. If you have a bunch of dorks out and you get board wiped, you got to step back a lot. If you have more lands, there's not much your opponent's gonna be able to do. Okay, so Bellowing Taggleworm, very good. Intimidate. Giving all your creatures Intimidate is a little insane. Okay, so spend only mana produced by creatures to cast. Yeah, we're not going to do that. That's not something we want. Yes, here we go. Very good. First creature casting spell each turn costs 2 less to cast. You get a search for a creature with mana cost 7 or greater. Very good. Green Warden. Nice recursion. Throw that in there. Lots of fun stuff. Oh, yes, Yeva. Flash. Give your creatures flash. Very, very powerful. Decimator of the Provinces. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain trample until the end of turn. It has trample and haste. That's pretty good because that's kind of like a mini what's it called? I'm blanking on the name of the card. The big 8-mana card. Where is it? It's got to be in here, right? Craterhoof Behemoth. Mini Craterhoof Behemoth. Now, the only thing is, like, we're not going to have a whole lot of small cards because or that we can bump up with that. But this gives, when it comes in, it's a 7/7 with haste and trample, and it gives itself and everything else +2. So it's more like when you first play it, a 9/9 with haste and trample, and it gives everything else trample and haste, which is pretty nice. Plus you can emerge it, which is pretty good. So I think we're going to put it in there. Soul of the Harvest, draw, lots of draw, one of the benefits of green. Thunderhook Behemoth, it's nice. More trample. You know, standard green stuff, standard green creatures. This is a pretty easy deck to build. We're going to put this in there. It's very powerful. If you don't like Annihilator, I know some people are not a fan of it, as far as just like your play group, then don't put it in there. Land War Elves we could put in there, but again, I'm not a big fan of Dorks. They're really good in competitive EDH, so don't be like, oh, what are you talking about? The Dorks are great, you're bad at the game. I understand that, but we're not playing CEDH. We're playing casual, and so I'm going to build it how I want it. And if I'm not a fan of the card, regardless how good of it is, I'm just not going to put it in the deck, because I'm not trying to win anything here. Okay, Beast Within, of course, very powerful, especially in mono green. You don't have a whole lot of creature removal. This is your creature removal. So, Ronin's Monument, one less to cast. Whenever you cast a creature, target creature you control gets +2 against trample. Pretty good. We're reducing it. We want a lot of cost reducing stuff because it fits with our commander. Lifecraft's Bestiaria, a new card is very nice. It's kind of like, you could not use this because stuff like Elemental Bond is just better in general. But it's more draw, and you can never really have enough of that, and it lets you scry at the beginning of your turn. So it has a lot of stuff. Rampant Growth is what we want. We want 2 mana because we have a 4-cost commander, and so what that means is that turn 1 you play a land, turn 2 you play a land and then you Rampant Growth, and then turn 3 you play your commander. Cultive, a lot of fun. And so stuff like that. Same thing with that gem, because I usually wouldn't put the gem in, but because our commander costs 4, it's very good. And mono decks usually appreciate it. This is very good because at like worst it takes our big creature and it doubles its power and gives it trample. Very nice. Rishkar's Expertise, an extremely good card. Lots of draw in our deck. Refill the hand very quickly. Inner Worlds. I'm not going to pick this because I'm not a big fan of it. We're going to take Lightning Gears though. Vigor. Oh my god. Talk about your card. This is only $3. I didn't think of Vigor. It used to be a lot more expensive than that. Primordial Sage, of course. You can see like how our deck is going to be. We're going to just like chain together loads and loads of big creatures and beat down our opponents. Pretty standard practice. Rampaging Balos is nice because it makes 4/4s. Anything with 4 power or greater gets buffed and costs less. So Wayward Sawtooth, I wouldn't usually put in here, but it hits 4 more or greater, and it allows us to play lands faster, which is very nice. So Trample, we cast if it's a creature card. Yeah, sure. So we have 30 creatures. We're gonna pick a different one. We're gonna pick 17. Ronus. This is nice. It's an indestructible 5/5 with Death Touch that will almost always be able to attack on our deck and can give our other creatures trample and just buff them up. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. So in our deck, because we reduced the cost so much, this is kind of like a better of the one guy, the 2/1 Reclamation Sage, Bitter Reclamation Sage, because he's a 4/4, and so he's still a body. Did we put him in there? So you can click here to sort by alphabetical. I don't think we put him in there, but just checking real fast. Yeah. Okay, so we put in a lot of creatures. This is very good because we have such big creatures. The ability to have them fight each other is nice, and we don't really have any low-cost stuff. Not that it matters a lot in EDH. Gaia's Revenge is, of course, insane. There's so many good big green creatures. You could literally put all these in here. But before we go any further, let's go down here and put in some of the more boring but very good cards. So Corrosive Grip is fantastic because it can't be countered or nothing can be done to it really. So it's always resolves is basically how that works. Heroic Intervention is basically the closest thing you can get to a green counterspell. But it's like better in such a way with those others. So Naturalize, I don't think we're going to get because we might as well just get a Reclamation Stage. So Pounce, we could get Pounce, but I'm not going to get Pounce. I don't really see put it into the target creature your opponent controls. So this is better than Pounce. But I'm still not going to get that. I think... No, I don't like tutors a whole lot. I like to keep my deck tutor-free in general, except for land tutors. Harmonize, no. No. Nature's Lore, yes. Two mana ramp, very good. And in that note, we will want a Secure Tribe Elder. So, speaking of that, you can see that we have Sky Shroud Claim, Kodama's Reach, and we put in the other thing. These aren't as good as the 2 mana ramp because our commander costs 4, but they're still so insane because we want to cast a lot of stuff, and the games are usually pretty slow in EDH. So, being able to... They reprinted this in Battle Brawl, which was just like, woo, thank you so much. Such an insane card. I'm saying vehicle because I've been doing World of Tanks a bunch, and that's what you say in World of Tanks. So see the reveal the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest into your graveyard. This is very good. If you control a creature power 4 grade, you may put 2 creatures. So this is like a mini Tooth and Nail, but in our deck it's very good. It's very, very good. Explosive Vegetation is basically a worse Sky Shroud Claim in this deck, so we're not going to put it in there. Now, Triumph of the Hordes, a lot of people will not like this pick because they hate Infect, but I'm okay with Infect, and this is such an insane card in our deck that I'm going to put it in there. So Savage Punch now, it's a sorcery, so I don't think we're going to get that. We don't have a lot of removal, and so I might be making a mistake not getting these, but what our hope is that we're the aggressor, and the cards that can be removed by this stuff are usually not going to be the cards you want to remove anyway. Okay. Praetor's Council is an insane card. Should be in most green decks, if not all of them. Savalis Stampede is insane in our deck. Okay. Genesis Wave is also insane. We're going to put it in there. I'm not a big fan of X cost unless our deck is specifically built for it. But this one's so good that I'm going to make an exception because it almost always going to get us something. Like if we play 6 for this, there's a big chance that we're going to get like a couple lands and then a creature it's like worth 6. Soul Ring, of course, yes. Get our C-17. Swiftfoot Boots. Speaking of Commander, the Commander 2018 is coming up pretty soon, and so what I'll probably do is do a like review of all of that when I get it. I'm going to be getting the whole thing, and so I'll probably do something with that. Gauntlet of Power. We're going to get these. These allow us to basically win the game very close to it because of all of our draw and all of our. Okay, this is a very good card. New card that is insanely cool is Sandworm Convergence. I didn't mean to do that. So this helps a lot because creatures with flying can't attack us, and then we just keep getting green worms, 5/5 worms, just dropping them. Beastmaster Ascension, I don't know about that. Greater Good though, I will take. Because this always basically is positive for us. And I don't want that. Where's Battle Bond? Yeah, they reprinted this in Battle Bond as well. Such a good reprint. Okay, now Song of the Dryads I will take. Very good removal on anything. Zendikar Resurgent. This is like a win condition for us, basically. Asceticism, also insane. What else do we get? Whenever an opponent casts a spell, reveal the top of a extra creature put on the battlefield. That's a really fun card, so I think we're going to take it. Oh, actually, we might be going. We might want a few more creatures. We need to slow down a little bit here on the enchantments. Growing Rights for Inwalk is going to be hard for us to get on the battlefield. This is like a shittier version of the other one. I don't want Exploration, but I do want Burgeoning. I like it better because it hits more often, in my opinion. And then we want a Garrett Primal Hunter, because that's just straight draw. Okay, so the last few cards here, let's look at creatures. We might have to remove a few of those enchantments because I want some more of the big creatures. So I don't think we want Regal Force. We don't have enough creatures for that. This is pretty good, but where's some of the really nice stuff? Let's get ourselves a Vorniclex, because Vorniclex. And a Reclamation, or a Bane of Progress. Big Reclamation Sage. This guy doesn't cost, he won't get the cost reduction, but he's so powerful that it doesn't matter. Ooh. Vorapede is an insane drop. Very, very good. And then Zavala, Heart of the Wilds, I think, to finish it off. Okay, so I think this looks good. We're about 63 non-land cards. And so when you're looking at lands and mono, there's a few things. Like, what you probably want is this, especially Mosswork Bridge, because we're in green and we're playing big creatures. You want... I don't want that. Reliquary Tower, because we have so much draw. Shrine to Nyx, because we have... This can get us a bunch of mana. Let's see. No, Rogue's Passage is good. Win condition, smack somebody who has blockers. Oh, Yamala's Hollow. This is a really expensive card and you don't have to use it, but we might as well because it's so good. And a Strip Mine for that land removal. And then finally, Forest. And might as well go with the Unstable Forest because they look so cool. And pack all those in there. And we want to go up to 100 cards. And there is our deck. And so then we hit Save Deck. And this is it. Hit that to make it like that. Go back. Look down here. There's our Goreclaw deck. So we built a deck. That took us about 24 minutes. Pretty long. This is going to be a pretty long video, but I want to explain everything about the thing. And so that's the deck building process. Pretty easy. You have a few. We're just going over like so. This right here is our advanced deck options. The same button is down there. You have add a missing card to the database, which I've never had to use. Most people, almost all the cards are in there. Paste text from deck. So basically, this is if you have your deck in a list, you can just paste it in here. Download deck. You can download with the set IDs, without. Set IDs is for like making copies of your deck. Like if you want to if somebody else is playing Untap and you want to give them a deck, do it with set IDs. Do without if you are uploading it to like TCG Player, Mass Entry, or anything else. Import from URL. This is if you want to import it from Tapped Out. something like that. Clear cards from deck, gets rid of all of them, so on and so forth. You can put tags, description if you want, whatever. That's basically the deck building aspect. Now, other things, we have chat. You can talk with players. You have all your things here, and then we have games. So this is where we get games. And so what we're going to do, real fast, is I'm going to hit new game, and I'm going to make a solo game, because I don't think I'm going to have time to play a game. We'll probably do that later. I'm just going to explain to you how it works. So we're going to go do a test, and we're going to go start game. Okay, so you put a mirror player in here with me. So this is what the game playing interface looks like. So the first thing you do, you come in here and you click Insert Deck, scroll down, Goreclaw EDH. Your commander goes on the field. I like to put him right here, Command Zone. You have your 99 cards, your head life points, this. So then, you have your toolbar. This is Leave Game. You hit on that, you have this. Now, when the game starts, there'll be other things here that tell reasons why you want to play the game. Toggle to Lobby takes you back here, but you're still in the game. So if you click on Game, you can just enter it back. You have information about the game. Insert deck if you want to insert a new deck. Scoop cards, so this concedes. Insert card or token. So if I want tokens, if my deck makes a lot of tokens, this is where I go and get them. Alert response, you hit that and it alerts response to everybody. As in, somebody plays something, you want to counterspell it, you alert response. No response is the opposite. So if somebody plays something and you want to, and you have a bunch of blue mana up, I don't have a response to that, and then they can keeps the flow of game going. Draw and play area, pretty standard. What does it mean? That's what it means. And then it does it for them. And then we have Untap All. So what this does is it untaps all your lands for you. Untaps all your permanents. Without you having to go through and do it separately. Roll a dice. Roll a d6. Roll a d10. Roll a d20. Hotkeys are all the hotkeys for your stuff. Very nice. So this tells you what all the... so you don't have to click on things. So you can see C is draw a card. X is unpivot all cards in play. V is shuffle your deck, so on and so forth. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go down to our deck. So you can see you have these things. So you have zoom, where you can zoom in on your hand. This is how many cards you have in hand. These are your hand options. First thing we do is go to deck. So same thing. Draw. These are all where you draw stuff to. You can draw it to the face down pile, expel, discard, face down pile, play face down. This draws it to play face down. This draws to play. This draws multiple. This is shuffle. Find card in your deck. So if you tutor, look at cards, look at the top cards to scry, and so on and so forth. Flip top if you have something like Oracle Moldiah. Keep flipped, so it keeps the card reveal, Oracle Moldiah. Expand cards. I'm not exactly sure what this does. Let's click it and look. Oh, it just looks like this, yeah. So you just do that, which isn't super useful if you're all face down. And then sideboard is your sideboard, which of course you don't use an EDH. So draw multiple, go up here, draw 7. Boom, this is our hand. Look at that. Okay, so we only have 2 lands, but we do have an Emerald Medallion. So if we have a turn 1 play, and we can play this at least. Or no, we can't. We can't play this. But if we draw 1 land, then we're good. So I think I would probably keep this because it's so good. We have the draw, we have flash. Of course, our commander gives us cost reduction. All right, so we draw 7, and then what if I want to mulligan that? So let's mulligan it. Just say we can. So we press M. Or you come over here and you go mulligan. This is standard mulligan. Mulligan -1 is M. Of course, so in EDH, usually you have 1 free, so you just hit mulligan. Are you sure? Yes. Boom. Okay, now that's a really nice hand. We got Soul Ring. We have 5 lands, a little heavy on lands, but we have some removal. We have Nykthos, and we have a lot of ramps. So we're hoping not getting lands. We have a lot of lands. I'd probably throw this back. Because there's no way for us to get value. The other hand was better if we drew 1 land. If we keep drawing lands in this hand, we're not bad. But if we keep drawing creatures, then we're good. So so then what we would do, okay, so to play the card. So let's say it's your turn. What you do is you go, okay, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to drag it to play. Boom, my land's on the field. Okay, then I double tap it, or hold over and hit spacebar. That's me hitting the spacebar to untap and retap it. So hit spacebar or double tap it. Play my Soul Ring. Okay, then up here, if there was more than 1 player, there'd be something that said change phase. So you could change between first main phase, combat, second main phase, and then pass the turn. So you hit that pass turn, or you can also hit E to pass the turn. So you can look at the hotkeys, of course. I go in here, E is in turn. Then it goes around, I untap or hit X, then press C to draw another card for my turn. Okay, look at that, nice. And so then we play our second land. That's 4. We're going to tap all 4. You see I can draw a box around these, and then hit pivot like that to tap all of them. Play our commander. Nice. Okay. Goes around again. Untap. Draw a card. Play another land. We're drawing lands, which is what I did not want to happen. Then we're going to tap 1, 2, and... Or actually, sorry, it's just 1 because of Goreclaw. We play this. Boom. So that's a pretty good start to start with. So these guys can both attack. We swing with Goreclaw. He does 5 because of his ability. Goes back around to our turn. And also we can actually pump him up. We pay the 2. We can make him do 7. Very nice. Untap. Draw a card. Savala, Heart of the Wilds is good, but not what we wanted because we don't need more mana. Although we can't just keep pumping this guy, somebody up. All right. So what does this mean? So that'll give us 1, 2, 3, 4. So we should play Nykthos here because we'll have 4. And then we tap. This doesn't get the bonus. We have to tap 3. 1, 2, 3. And we play Savala, Heart of the Wilds. And then now we can add 4 mana to our mana pool if we wanted to. So what we'll do is we'll swing then with both of them. And then we would get 4 to pump up Goreclaw again. And then hit for a lot. Untap, draw a card, more mana. So you can see if we don't get one of our draw things, that's one problem with this deck. If we don't get one of our draw things, we have a lot of mana, and luckily now we do have a mana sink because we can just give tons of use this pump up over and over again. So what we would do here is we would play our land, and then we would tap. Well, we don't want to tap our lands first, right? Because this is whenever basic land is tapped. So what we would do first is we want this costs 5, so we would tap we tap 1 basic land to tap this to add 5 to our mana pool to play Gauntlet, name green, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then of course 9, 10 because this taps for 2, positive 2. So then we would swing with both of these, and we would pay 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and pump it 3 times, and that might kill somebody after we hit them enough with our guy. Remember that guy? Both of these guys. This guy's got trample. This guy's a big death touch dude. Draw a card. Born to Klex. So we play Born to Klex, and then we have even more mana, and we're winning the game very handily. And so you can see that's how the thing works. And then you can just do whatever you want, right? You know, with all this stuff, you gain life, you lose life. You can type in chat, you tell people stuff, and it's a really fun format. And then if you're in a game with more than 2 players, there's a button right over here that will split theirs into 3. So basically, you'll have one guy's board like right here, another guy's board on the bottom, and another guy's board here. We're playing a 4-player game. And so it's just a really nice system, and I really enjoy using it, and I would really recommend it to anybody. And I think that's going to be about everything. There's not much more in the game there to say about this. You can play if you don't, you can play stuff other than Commander, but I feel like that's not as good. I mean, playing Modern's nice because you don't have to get into. If you want to play Standard, I would just honestly recommend Arena. But other game modes that aren't Standard, this is a really nice system, and it's real smooth. You can see your account settings. I have my Warhammer. Your badges. You can see I have a version 2 Dev Funder. Fine. Change your password, untap settings, so on and so forth. Wiki. Everything, yeah, brings you to the Untap where you can use the wiki, which doesn't have a lot here, but you don't really need it. It's fine. Bugs and feedback. If you actually find a bug, it takes you to this place where you can send an issue, report, chat. You know, now what was I was talking about the problems, right? So the big problem with this game is that if you're playing tabletop EDH, there is a social contract that even if you're going to lose, you can't just rage bitch out somebody. So when you combine EDH with the anonymity of the internet, what you get is people who will just leave and they fall behind, or people who will call you a cuck and then just go off on you for doing the mildest thing, or if they're playing infect, we'll put an infect card in that deck, or if you're playing any kind of deck that they don't like, then they'll get really angry at you, and then leave, and then you've had a bad game. Because there's no in Arena you have that you can't chat, but people will leave. But there's a negative aspect to leaving, right? They lose something. They're not winning the game. They're not getting rewards. In this game, there's no rewards, so people just leave. And so that's kind of like a problem with it as compared to tabletop EDH because people don't just leave, right? They can't just like say nothing and go without being like it being really strange. And so that's probably the biggest issue with this. But you can't really it'd be really hard to change that unless they actually like rewarded people for staying somehow, uh, which would be a whole other thing to implement. Then yeah, that's just something you gotta deal with when you play online. So yeah, I think it's a really nice system. I enjoy it a lot. It's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend it. I think that's pretty much everything.